Milsurp Garage here with the 1895, the model 1895 Chilean Mauser. Yes, it is a revisit. We have done this rifle before about 5 years ago, but it wasn't this exact rifle. I'll explain what happened with that in a second. This is one of the few instances of me having two of the exact same thing. That's how much I love these things. But I did a video about 5 years ago. Me and Charlie were talking about it. We're showing it to you. I did a little a rehash. I went over the video and looked at it again because I didn't want to be necessarily talking about the same exact things, but it was pretty comprehensive. I don't even know if I don't think I'm actually going to go over it again. The reason why I wanted to just break this out and show it to you is just that after doing the Japanese rifles, that we were visiting a Mauser-inspired design. And a lot of these Mauser-inspired designs, when you look at them, you really start to get, the Mauser thing, it almost like it loses its uniqueness when everybody was just copying it, and there were a lot of different versions and everybody's kind of idea of the little modifications they could make. But you really got to go back. I thought about it, and I went back, and I really wanted to take a look that when you really get out the real thing and you just feel the smoothness of the action, and you look at the quality of the building, then you do understand that the copies were definitely it was almost like they're copying them in tribute, but no way are they coming close to the just the precision manufacturing. These things are like works of art. They're amazing. So how did I come by a second Chilean Mauser? Well, I'll tell you. I was at my regular Milsurp buying spot, like one of my big ones, where the guy has a huge collection that's always rotating. People are always coming in and selling stuff and buying new things, and there's always a lot of different stock bouncing around. And I saw one of these, and I have one, but this one is in like the same exact condition, maybe a little bit better than the one I had. And I called up a buddy who he's really into newer stuff. He's always got the latest 2020 AR would be the latest thing that he's looking at in the catalogs, not necessarily older stuff like this. He's always up on the newest stuff, but has always I go to the range with him all the time, and he's always expressed interest in getting one of these older rifles. And I saw this thing there, and I earmarked it for him, and I said, you really should, if you're gonna get one of these older ones, there's one down there, $350. Come on, I mean, the thing is gorgeous, so he kind of reluctantly agreed with me and got it, and then never really felt like he should have bought it. He had made comments a couple of times through the next coming months about how he blew his money on this thing. He wasted $350 on it, and I'm thinking that he's kidding. But there was one time where he was talking about like something he wanted to buy, and it was $350, and he was like, "I wouldn't have to pay anything if I didn't buy that junky rifle that you made me buy." And I was like, you know what? What did you pay for it again? $350. I'll take it off your hands for the $350. So that's exactly what I did, and I didn't feel like it should be in the hands of somebody who didn't appreciate it. If you really want to look at it that way. But I mean, I started looking at it, and I was like, I always felt like having one. If you start to, you can get crazy. But if you just want to have a collection of all of it's all you collect is these, then fine, you could have more than one. But if you're gonna have a collection that kind of tries to span everything, you're really kind of spinning your wheels. If you have two of the same thing, you should always, I would get rid of the one that I like the most, let's say, but these two I'm keeping. And the reason, I'll tell you why this thing is just so beautiful, is just the smoothness of operation. These are, I mean, look at that. Did you hear how that went in there? They're 7mm Mauser. This is chambered in, and look at how beautiful. By the way, these are snap caps. Those crazy safety conscious people, if you're not regular visitors to my channel, these are snap caps from realisticsnapcaps.com, which if you use coupon code Milsurp Garage, one word, MILSURPGARAGE at checkout, you'll get 10% off. Plus, these guys don't charge shipping. And look at these things. These are the 7mm Mauser offerings from them. This silicone-like fire pin cushioning is nice here, so you don't have to feel weird about dropping the hammer on them. Listen to that firing pin drop right there. My God, that'll set off anything. It'll almost set these off. There's no powder in them. So yeah, just the smoothness. Even if you load by hand like this, sometimes it's nice. You go to the range, you don't even use the stripper clips. You just, why are you in a rush? You just sit here and place them in. And once again, look at this controlled feed in action here, like for real. For real. Like the Japanese rifles weren't for real, but you know what I mean. Like, this is where they copied it from. You could actually just see that clip up underneath. And as I say that, it lets go. I think I pulled back just before it was fully seated. See that controlled feed? You go right up against the extractor there. You're in total charge of that round. If it, you don't even have to fully close the bolt, and you got it. It's up underneath that huge extractor. I mean, look at that thing. You're not breaking that thing. Look how it stays in place as the bolt rotates with this collar here. Ingenious. Simply ingenious. And the Chilean, they wanted it nice and mellow. In Chile, even when it was empty, they wanted the smoothness of closing. They didn't want it to be interrupted like the 1893, I don't think, closes on a empty magazine without pushing the follower down. But the Chileans cut a little ramp into here. They wanted it to be nice and smooth. Beautiful, huh? Pull the trigger and decock it. This gorgeous sight. Look at that rear sight. Always confusing front and rear sights. Getting old. This right here, interestingly enough, right underneath the serial number there, there's a Star of David. A Jewish star would be there. There's a huge dent right there. Who knows if somewhere down the line that was done on purpose, or looks like it could be a mistake. There's another one over here. But right on there, you could just about make it out. That was the Ludwig Love. I say Love, then somebody in the comments on the other video said there's no E like the French E. It's Ludwig Love. I don't know, as long as you know who I'm talking about. And look, you could see when they were arsenaled, you could see here that mark of this knurled piece of the sight on the stock here. One after another, all imprinted into it. You could see it there on both sides. Here's a big one. And that's because they're all stacked next to each other in an arsenal, same rifle, one after the other, so these would hit each other. And the bayonet, of course. Listen to this bayonet. It's like a tuning fork. Absolutely gorgeous. Chile going with the shorter bayonet than their arch rival Argentina, who also bought a Mauser product but used a longer bayonet. And what does this say on here, on the bottom here? Definitely from Germany. Yep. Let's check out the hookup here. You know what? Let's swap around. Do it the other way. That's as simple as it gets with that. Nice. It's always nice how it goes around the cleaning rod like that. I always found that interesting. Yeah, the quality here really you really remember what it is about Mausers that made them so awesome. Yeah, can we get in here? Can we look at this? Let me see if we can. Maybe not. Just wanted to look at this, how polished the speed ramp is here, and that review dropped around in here, and just see how beautiful that feeds. That feed ramp. Yep, the Mauser design is definitely something to be thankful for. And if you're into these, I'll give you a little heads up. I got this just recently. I think this just recently came out. It's David Nielsen. It's a book on the Mauser rifle in Chile. What could be better than that? Plenty of historical info. I mean, this thing like really breaks it down. Really. I mean, they must have kept pretty accurate records for them to be able to bust out like every single order that was made. But you know, there was a lot of decision making going on what rifle to go with, and stuff like that. So it's a lot of interesting information if you really want to know every single little thing about these being purchased, and the other models too. It's not just the 1895, the model 1912, 1935. There's other ones also. This was the first one. It shows like every little mark, every little proof mark, because this thing is full of them, full of little proof marks and stuff. And yeah, crests, inscriptions, cartouches, and proof marks. That's the most interesting part. And yeah, these were made in a few places, but it was these ones that say Manufactura Love Berlin. Those were the originals. The original 1894 manufactured and 1895 delivered batches were from them. And yeah, at I don't know if they're probably a bit more than $350 now, but they're certainly not one of these ones that breaks the bank. And I couldn't imagine a higher quality Milsurp. You know, and I love sitting here, and I love sitting here like the Mauser brothers probably did once they got it perfect. Like really just admiring all that work and all that design, what it took to get the thing to this point. To just be that perfect all the time, round after round. You know, this 7mm round, this is like by some considered like the perfect round. Some people literally say that this is perfect. This is the one that Mauser actually designed. The 8mm Mauser, it's called the 8mm Mauser. He didn't even design that round. The 7mm one, this is the one that he designed specifically for his guns. You know, so there's a little bit of you know, there's a little bit of love there, you know, and this is the Chilean stuff that I have. I've bought so much of this. I have a ton of it, a ton of this with this head stamp. It's 70s Chilean surplus, and every single one of these goes bang. It's probably corrosive and you can't reload it and all that stuff, whatever, but I just leave the brass behind and I clean them really good, and I just have enough of this for the rest of my life. So that's what it's all about when you make a purchase like that with this stuff. This surplus stuff back in the day was cheap. It came in 2 batches, actually. It was that and some other stuff. I don't know, I did a video on it. I forgot the head stamp now, what the manufacturer was. But there was a whole other group of it that's terrible. I got it around somewhere, but like maybe 1 out of every 4 was went bang, and the others were bad. And that kind of worries me, because I don't even the ones that go bang, I don't really trust, you know what I mean? I don't want to squib round, ended up in the barrel that I don't know about, you know what I mean? If the ammo's that bad, where it's only 25% effective, you don't even want to mess with that 25%. You just mothball it somewhere, or just get rid of it, and that's the end of it, WRA, that's what it was. WRA was the head stamp. And maybe I'll revisit it again. Maybe it could be just that I grabbed a couple of handfuls of bad ones. I could have just had bad luck. I could just do another revisit just to check it out. But it was still worth it just to get, say, like 75%, 70% of the order when it came was the Chilean stuff, which is, like I said, it's all perfect. So it's almost like the supplier knew that the other stuff was bad, so he only gave a small amount of that stuff, you know what I mean? It kind of seems that way. But whatever, it was worth it. If all I got was the Chilean stuff, it was worth it. And I just wanted to jump in on Thanksgiving, say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Figured maybe they want to sit around the fire or something after eating and check out a cool rifle. I highly recommend these guys. Look at that cool cartouche. It doesn't get better than that. That's stamped into the stock. Could you imagine? Look at that thing. It's just a beautiful steel butt plate. The steel is so awesome. Even the steel on the butt plate is awesome steel. And this guy, it's numbers matching the receiver to everything, and then the bolt is all numbers matching on its own. So there's a separate, different bolt. And the floor plate here to the magazine, you can even see it's a different patina. The floor plate to the magazine somehow ended up different. Probably re-arsenaling in Chile, so nothing to really get bent out of shape about. You're not really going to be hard-pressed to find one of these things all matching anyway, but I kind of like the history of different serial numbers, even on the cleaning rod. So, happy Thanksgiving. We're going to be back with a couple of these revisits, along with some newer rifles. Next video is going to be something that we haven't seen before, and I'll mix that stuff. I'll mix that up with some stuff that we have seen, and but maybe I know a little bit more, or maybe I forgot everything and know a little bit less about. All right, everybody. See you all later.